piercing scream shattered the peaceful air of Willow Creek Zoo. Jake, a mischievous kid, lay curled up among tangled vines, his eyes wide with terror. Just steps away, a pack of massive gorillas charged toward him, fur bristling, teeth bared in a menacing snarl. Their roars shook the ground, sending the crowd of school kids behind the glass barrier into a frenzy of panicked screams. Jake thrashed desperately, his foot caught, no way to break free. No one was close enough to save him, and time seemed to freeze in that life-or-death moment. Amid the chaos, a small figure stepped forward from the crowd. Lily Harper, the deaf girl Jake and the class had mocked, stood before the glass, hands trembling but eyes blazing with determination. She pounded on the barrier, her hands flashing rapid signs like a desperate plea, calling out to an unlikely friend, Samson, the giant gorilla. In a heartbeat, Samson's head snapped up, his deep brown eyes locking onto Lily's, recognizing her urgent gestures. With a thunderous roar, he charged, not to attack, but to protect the boy teetering on the edge of disaster. Could the extraordinary bond between a little girl and a massive gorilla be enough to save a life? Step into the journey of Lily and Samson, where a tiny girl and a towering gorilla wrote a legend together. Where are you watching this inspiring story? Drop your thoughts in the video's comments about the incredible friendship between Lily and her giant gorilla pal, Samson, that broke every barrier. Willow Creek, a small Ohio town, was all shady, oak-lined streets and endless wheat fields glowing under golden sunlight. There, 10-year-old Lily Harper lived a quiet life. Born deaf, her world was built on gestures, glances, and the vibrations she felt through her small hands. At school, she worked hard but always felt like an outsider, surrounded by laughter and chatter she couldn't hear. Every weekend, Lily's mom, Sarah, took her to Willow Creek Zoo where they found joy together. The zoo wasn't just a place for Lily to explore animals. It was where she felt freest. No one judged her for being deaf, and the animals seemed to understand her in a way people rarely did. One bright summer day, sunlight streaming through the leaves, Lily and her mom stopped at the gorilla enclosure. There, a massive male gorilla named Samson sat quietly, his deep brown eyes gazing into the distance. Samson wasn't like the other gorillas. He didn't make a fuss or show off. He carried a strange calm, like he was waiting for something. Lily stood at the glass, her eyes sparkling with curiosity. She pressed her hand against it, and to her surprise, Samson turned and looked right at her. His eyes lit up as if he saw something special. Slowly, he lumbered over and placed his huge hand on the glass, right over hers. Lily's heart raced, and she grinned. That was the start of a magical friendship. Over the next few weeks, Lily became a regular at the gorilla enclosure. Samson seemed to know when she was coming, sitting close to the glass to wait. When she showed up, he'd let out a low, rumbling sound, like a hello. Lily started using the sign language she'd learned at school. She signed, hello, and to her amazement, Samson tapped the glass lightly, as if he got it. Sarah, at first worried about safety, softened when she saw her daughter's rare, beaming smile. She reached out to Tom, the gorilla keeper, to learn about Samson. Tom shared that Samson had been a loner, rescued from Africa after his mother was poached. He'd grown up in the zoo but kept his distance from other gorillas and people. Until Lily, Tom said, his voice full of wonder. I've never seen him like this. Lily carried a little notebook, sketching the signs she used with Samson and jotting down his reactions. One day, she signed friend, interlocking her hands. Samson studied her, then slowly mimicked the gesture, his massive hands touching. Lily squealed, running to hug her mom. For the first time, she felt truly heard, not with ears, but with her heart. Lily started spending more time at the zoo, even after school. She learned patience from Samson, how to listen with her eyes and feel with her heart. One day, when a sudden storm hit, she saw Samson huddling in his enclosure, eyes anxious. She signed safe over and over until he looked at her and gave a slight nod, like he trusted her. Fall brought chilly winds and golden leaves. Lily started the new school year at Willow Creek Elementary, with a bit of confidence from her summer with Samson. But school was a tough place. Classmates often dismissed her for being different. Some kids called her weird because she preferred the zoo over their games. Jake, a troublemaker, loved teasing her in front of everyone. "You talk to monkeys, guess you're one too." He'd laugh, and the class would crack up. Lily stayed silent, gripping her sign language notebook, the taunts stabbing like needles. She wanted to tell her mom, but didn't want her to worry. Instead, she found comfort in Samson. Every weekend, she'd sit by the glass, signing to him about her tough days. Samson couldn't reply in words, but his warm brown eyes seemed to say he understood. One afternoon, Lily noticed Samson moving slower, his eyes tired. Tom explained that Samson was getting old, his health fading. Lily dove into research, borrowing library books about gorillas to learn how they communicated and lived. She taught Samson new signs like love and family, and each time he responded, her heart felt lighter. But at school, things got worse. Jake and a few others started calling her Gorilla Girl, and the nickname spread like wildfire. Lily tried to ignore it, but she felt lonelier than ever. She wondered if she belonged anywhere, or if Samson was the only one who got her. On a bright spring day, Willow Creek Elementary took a field trip to the zoo. Lily was thrilled to be back where she felt at home, but nervous too. Her classmates had never seen her with Samson, and she dreaded more teasing. During the trip, she hung back with her mom, who was volunteering as a chaperone. When the class reached the gorilla enclosure, the kids got loud, pointing and joking. Jake, always looking for attention, climbed over a safety barrier to get closer to the glass. "Check out these dumb monkeys," he yelled, banging on the glass. But then, a loose section of the fence gave way. Jake lost his balance, tumbling into an area near the enclosure where a group of gorillas was resting. The loud crash startled the gorillas. They roared, charging toward Jake, fur raised, teeth flashing. Jake screamed, panicking, his foot caught in some vines. Teachers and zoo staff rushed over, but they were too far. The crowd of kids screamed in terror. Lily, standing nearby, saw it all. Her heart pounded, but she didn't hesitate. Even though Jake had been cruel, she couldn't let him get hurt. She ran to the glass, banging hard to get Samson's attention as he sat quietly in a far corner. She signed help over and over, her eyes pleading. Samson looked up, locking eyes with her. Sensing the urgency, he stood and let out a deafening roar. Samson charged toward the gorillas, closing in on Jake. With the strength and authority of an alpha, he spread his arms wide, roaring to hold the others back. The gorillas stopped, retreating slowly, still growling. Samson stood protectively in front of Jake, his eyes fierce but not attacking. He glanced at Lily as if to say everything was okay. Zoo staff rushed in, pulling Jake to safety. Shaking and pale but unhurt, Jake was led away. The class went silent, unable to believe what they'd just seen. They looked at Lily, the small deaf girl with new eyes, admiration, awe, and a touch of guilt. The story of Lily and Samson spread like wildfire through Willow Creek. Jake, embarrassed but humbled, apologized to Lily in front of the class. "I was wrong," he said, voice shaky. "Thanks. You and Samson." For the first time, Lily felt respected. Her classmates started asking about sign language and how she talked to Samson. Instead of mocking her, they wanted to learn. Some even tried signing hello, and Lily smiled, teaching them the basics. The school and zoo held a small ceremony to honor Lily and Samson. Tom shared Samson's story, emphasizing how his bond with Lily saved a life. With her mom and an interpreter, Lily spoke to the crowd. "Samson's not just a gorilla. He's my friend. He showed me friendship doesn't need words, just a heart." Willow Creek's community saw Lily differently. The girl once called weird became an inspiration. Parents raised money to improve the gorilla enclosure, and a plaque went up. "Samson and Lily, a friendship beyond barriers." Local papers covered the story, and a video of Lily's bravery went viral online. At school, Lily was no longer alone. Jake became one of her first friends, and they bonded over animals. Lily started a small after-school club, teaching sign language to classmates. The shy girl had become a leader, sparking change in her school. That summer, Lily spent extra time at the zoo, knowing Samson's health was failing. Tom warned her Samson didn't have long, so she made every moment count. She brought a small camera, snapping photos of Samson picking up a leaf or looking at her with gentle eyes. Lily also started a journal, writing stories about her and Samson, sketching their shared signs from friend to love. One day she signed family at the glass, and Samson pressed his huge hand to his chest, as if he knew they were more than friends. They were family. Lily shared her story with the community. At a zoo summer event, she spoke to a crowd about how Samson changed her life, teaching her courage and understanding. The crowd cheered, and Samson from his enclosure seemed to sense her pride. That fall, Samson grew weaker. Lily knew goodbye was coming. She didn't cry, but her heart was heavy. One evening, after the zoo closed, Tom let Lily visit Samson. Under the silver moonlight, she sat by the glass, signing love one last time. Samson slowly signed back, his trembling hand touching the glass. Lily smiled, tears falling, but she felt a strange peace. Samson passed a few days later. Lily stayed away from the zoo for a while, but she didn't let grief consume her. She finished her journal, turning it into a small book with her drawings and signs. A local publisher picked it up, and it inspired kids across Ohio, especially those who were deaf. Years later, as a teenager, Lily became an advocate for deaf rights and wildlife conservation. She often returned to Willow Creek, standing by the gorilla enclosure where Samson's plaque still stood. Their story became a town legend, a reminder of friendship and courage. Lily founded a charity in Samson's name, helping disabled kids and wildlife programs. She traveled, sharing her story, urging people to open their hearts and listen with them. In Willow Creek, the gorilla enclosure became an education center where kids learned about animals and sign language. Lily and Samson's story shows that true friendship knows no bounds, not language, species, or disability. An open heart and understanding can break any barrier, turning the impossible into reality. Lily's courage in saving a classmate and Samson's loyalty remind us that even in the darkest moments, friendship and kindness shine, lighting the way for positive change. Friendship isn't just a bond. It's a spark that can transform a whole community.